Hey, today we're going to go and practice some debugging. So I got this application, and when I run it, you'll see that it looks wonderful, but it crashes when you move the mouse. Oh no. So the steps to handle this are to reproduce what I think is happening with the mouse in check expect and see if we can track down the problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, comment out the Big Bang because we know that doesn't work right now. And here's a mouse handler. So let's say, looked like my mouse went to about x equals 100, y equals 80. It does not matter. Well, I'll pick 70 because I already see there was an 80 over here. So it does not matter. We're just trying to track down what we think is happening. And so let's make up a situation. At the start, f is 80, x is 100, y is 70, and I think event is move. And what do we think should happen? Well, according to this particular function, out should come 80 plus 100. Now, you should be careful with reading the function instead of using the purpose statement. So I think that if we had a purpose statement, we would use it, but at least this way, I can follow what's happening. So I got a scale light, starts with 80, 100, 70, move, and now it's supposed to come out with 180. Does that work? Of course it does. And let's see about spotlight 180. No problem. So that particular mouse motion is not causing the problem. Let's see if we still have a problem. Of course we do, and we'll take a look at it. So now I'm going to move my mouse, let's say over here, which this window is about 500 by 500. So I'll be about 100 for Y and 490 for X. Boom, right there. Okay. So I saw that I definitely have a problem. So let's see why. Well, we can't tell from the error really because it happens too fast. But we can make another check expect. So, and then the second check expect, let's see, F was still 80 because I started there. X equals about 490 on 490. And I said I thought Y was about 100. And we'll keep the event being move. So scale light, no problem. Start with 80, 490, 100, move. And according to this function, out should come 570. So that's what's happening. And then we'll need to test the draw handler. Well, here we go. Does it really happen? Yes. So now we'll follow the mouse. The mouse movement follow the flow of information. Mouse handler produces 570. So we go over to the draw handler. What do we expect to see? Text expects a font size as a second argument given 570. So at this point, you would need to go to the help desk and learn that font size means a number less than or equal to 255. So this number that's getting returned is too large. We have to deal with that somehow. But just figuring out that the number was the problem is really the point of this talk. So what I did was I started checking the mouse handler, and then I went to the spotlight function, and I discovered, oh no, spotlight can't draw a font size 570 font. And so then maybe you should rethink what's going on, and really, this is missing a purpose. Perhaps X should control the font size directly instead of always adding X to the font size. Maybe it should be possible to get some negatives and subtract, or just use X instead of F plus X. But anyway, if we're going to fix this, I'll show a fix at the end. There's really not much. This isn't really a good fix, but let's change the purpose. So make the font, the scale light control the font size directly. So that means this font size would be 100 and this font size would be 490. Still going to be a problem because that number is too large. So maybe we could do a quotient of x by 2. That would make this number 50 and that number, heck, 245. So I think that'll do it. Now we should be in a situation where we won't get an error because the number's too large. Big number, small number. All right, there you go. So that's the end. The point of the debugging talk again was to show you should pick an example situation and trace through what the function does. In the end, we discovered that really the purpose was wrong, so it isn't good enough to check that the function is doing what you say it's doing, but along the way, you can realize something important.